Test, test. Okay, I was talking to myself and no one could hear me. Freaking great start to this stream. Well, assuming it didn't just suddenly drop out. I don't know why that setting got changed on OBS, but assuming it didn't get just dropped out all of a sudden. Let's see where we were. Okay, so it looks like I just still need to do this layer. Wait a second, I can just count. Let's see. Next frame should be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yep. Got it correct. But what I had been talking about apparently to myself, I was talking about some real shithead players that were in the first 5E campaign I did. One was Necromancer Wizard, which I let him know the current setting, which is Modern Magic, I think 2016. Before that, there was absolutely no magic. Then, like, towards the end of that, United States, yeah, that was election year for us, a U.S. presidential election. Magic just suddenly returned. And that was pretty much the origin of magic in the timeline. It's just one day, out of nowhere, a bunch of people kind of like dozed off in the middle of the day, had dreams that kind of boiled down to we are returning. Like very borderline eldritch being-esque, which was kind of the point. But yeah, it's magic relatively new, so necromancy wasn't illegal, but it was certainly frowned on. All the zombie movies, Evil Dead, everything where they just don't look like respectable beings make people kind of uncomfortable. But he was in a legal necromancer guild in Germany, visiting from England, where his guild is located. So I thought, he wants to do that. That's cool. We can explore how this is going to work in the campaign. And the guild itself was a very solid feeling idea. I did like it. There were a lot of story possibilities from it. Shit, I did my math wrong. It's going to be a total of 32 frame loop, I believe. Then anyway, back to the story. So yeah, it was an interesting character, but he asked for permission to go by the spell point system instead of spell slots. It's an optional thing in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a try, see how it plays, and if not, we'll just go back. And he abused the shit out of it, to the point where after a certain level up and a decent plot point stop, I said, so, okay, I get what you wanted. I'm feeling like it's a bit much for the game I'm trying to run. Like, I don't think you need a swarm of skeletons that make the fighter in the party absolutely unnecessary. And they went, it's like, you know what, that's cool. I'd like to swap out my character, because I built them for that. It's like, dude, it's an RP-heavy campaign. We're not even, like, level 5 yet. It's like, you can... Sorry, we aren't even, like, level 6 or 7 yet. You can wait just a little bit and slowly change them over time. But no, he wanted to do a new one. And that's when I should have kicked them out first. But I didn't do it then. And, that is on me for not recognizing the warning sign at that point. So, yeah. About the same time, or actually, be more accurate, shortly before that, The other person also had to get a new character. The plot for the area where he died was any souls close to this cave of soul gems, their soul is just going to be immediately sucked up. It's like stuck inside a gem, so the only way to bring it back is to use that gem with the Revivify spell, or whatever choice of, not reincarnation, reviving a dead body. But his in-campaign buddy didn't like him enough to do that for him. Shitty necromancy wizard. So instead he used the gem to just amp up the spell for regenerating an undead. I forgot to make sure these are all moved. Yep. Let's see. Move visible. Yeah, with that, I can't even remember what character he made after that. Pretty sure it was still melee focused. Yeah, it's after that I started to shut up Windows security. Oh no, you're saying it'd be more secure if I logged into Windows? No, it frickin' wouldn't, except by your own design. Technorant. For later, though. These people are not great role players. They are not super fun to be with. So I got the story to a point where... Excuse me. I got the story to a point where I could get their characters logically out of the area and replace them with better players with more group-centric design. Sorry, not designs, backstories and flaws and what have you. But yeah, it's I certainly regretted not taking care of them earlier, but with them, we got the plot to a good point that I could easily bring in other players with characters built for, teamwork. And so with that, we were able to get to a much meatier plot than I had not planned for, but I think went quite well. Let's see. The BBEG was a former primal god. Primal gods in my setting being referred to those just animalistic from before humanity got major power, before humanity's gods were able to really influence a whole lot on Earth. And so the primal gods were just all, in this particular case of Lycaon, a wolf. The all-consuming wolf. No heed paid for sustainable hunting. Just taking as much as he could. Wait a second, my count is wrong. How am I only at 13? It's right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. Did I? Wait, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. So is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'll just have to assume it's going to work out. I don't know why it's like this. Let's see, did I already... No, I did not do this layer yet. Right? Correct. Let's see, what is this saying? This BBEG is just primal god, all wolf, all hunting, without limits. Without care for, for other species, certainly, and what their needs might be. But Lycaon was the last of the primal gods, all the other humanoid gods having either hunted the others down or accepted them into their ranks, so long as they took human form and joining their pantheons, of course. So he is very prideful beast, considering himself the last and whatnot. Let's see. Then duplicate that one. 16. Then the rest are just duplicating backward, I believe. Yes. Oh god, this is so much. Why do I hate myself? Yeah, I count the BBG of the campaign. Was the last of the wild gods, and as such, very prideful and wanted to go down in what he assumed would be a massive fight against the would-be usurpers. However, there was one of the newer gods, a very trickster-inclined one, that had a very rude way of taking that opportunity from him. At the time, they were known as Galen, but later cultures would refer to them as Loki. What Loki did was he took care of a young orphan girl, her family already slain by Lycaon and his forces in the past. One day he just coincidentally left her unsupervised. Yeah, it's not so unsupervised as Lycaon was believed, because again, the trickster Loki, he allowed Lycaon to snatch her up in his jaws, eat her, lay down for a nice nap, at which point he ripped open Lycaon's stomach with a silver-bladed axe, fatally injuring him, but also in the process dousing this young girl in the blood of a deity. Primal deity as he may have been, still the power of a god. And thus siphoned all that energy from Lycaon before he could attempt to recover. Is rude to say the least. But it is a plan that worked. And a working plan was all they needed. But yet again, however, this was not the plan to kill him off for finally. This was the plan to make killing him off in the future much easier. After that, there was a prophecy of a group of heroes who would unwittingly release this former primal god, setting him loose upon the world to try and regain his energy, and at the right moment take the stolen energy from this goddess. And that prophecy was, when I started the campaign, the event that got all the characters together was a dream from a deity of sleep, who he allowed the party to refer to as the Sandman, who called himself a cousin to death who had been trapped. Trapped by this white supremacist group in a cave where many souls were trapped in crystals, chief among them being a large crystallized skull of a wolf with a silver-bladed axe stuck in its forehead, and silver chains wrapping around both it and several pythons in the floor. And that event was supposed to be for the actual prophesized heroes who just hadn't showed up. The god of sleep, the god of death, do not know what happened to them. Only that they were supposed to show up to that cave, but got sidetracked somewhere. Hence why Dream had to go get this ragtag group. It's like the actual heroes got caught somewhere else. You guys are not the B team. You're not the C team. You're not even Plan Z. You are the cleanup crew, who are good enough to fix this mess before it gets worse. See, the thing about that prophecy is if the heroes did not release him, he is allowed to burst free at his own choice of time. Lycan would be far too powerful to defeat. But like I said, the plan for this campaign was not for the players to be the heroes. The plan was for that's just what got them together. And as such, their first encounter with that was assuming at face value the gods were like, yeah, no, you're not actually these heroes. You're just the people we need for now. And then I had to change the plot. And so I made that the actual plot afterwards. That they were the prophesied ones, and then they weren't allowed to know. Part of the prophecy was that the chosen heroes would not know until the time was right. And so, with the two incoming players, I had to base it off of what they had. Whoop. Hello? Hello? Someone in the Discord? Yo. I was just talking about the Lycan plot. Oh. 1 second. Yep. I just realized I did not have a voice activity in Discord for you. So now I'm just getting some echo, I assume, from the... Yep. I'm good. Yeah. Just making sure I don't have audio on the stream. No. Yeah, I figure it's something I can half mindlessly do while I do a lot of copy paste. I assume you don't have headphones on? I'm just getting some echo. Let's see. It's really distracting just hearing yourself echo back, just in the safety of your own room. Also, wait, why is this not showing anything? There should be something visible, shouldn't there? Not that one. There we go. But yeah, how you been? I'm just talking campaign one business. Just got to how I decided on the Lycan plot becoming the main plot instead of just the joke thing for the first group. Well, that's good at least. Not at all. I think my update screwed up device settings. Let me see. Voice and video. Test, test. No, it is. How about now? Test, test. There we go. Yeah, yeah, the fucking Windows update, I guess, reset that. As such, it probably screwed up the OBS one. Let me make sure. Let's see. Audio.
Minutes.
Let's see. Should be like that. If you could say something, test that source. There we go. Yep, I got the bump from you.
YouTube is better than Twitch.
Yeah, but right now I know how to raid on Twitch, and I can get raided by other Twitch friends.
uh, that's fine. Hello, internet. Hello.
Yeah,
I don't know, 10, 20 people are gonna watch this later.
I mean, some people do watch the VODs, yeah. Unless, unless like all you guys in my D&D group watch them multiple times to get the double digits. There are some people who like my ramblings, I guess. Uh, but yeah, if you'd like to introduce yourself and the character you brought into campaign one.
Sure. My name is Michael. I was how how old was I? I was like 21. Uh, it's been a few years since I've known Nick, and I played uh, Derek D'Angelo in campaign one, a uh, Asimar Thurgist wizard. Thurgist being a Unearth Arcana subclass that lets you get cleric spells while still being a wizard. It's a whole thing.
And that was the big reason I brought the previously joke plot point of you need to free this god because the heroes are out of town, busy with something else, into the actual plot.
Yeah, no, we actually had to free a god that was being held hostage by a corporate company of all things.
Yeah, that was a like that was Thanatos, who I ruled as the god of collecting souls above all else. And every region had
Mhm.
its selection, like dukes and other like lesser nobility named levels, just regions, because there are just so many people nowadays. He can't do it all by himself. He's not
Isn't
quite
there
fast enough.
one Grim Reaper? Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. But yeah, because
Yeah.
the previously mentioned dipshit necromancers that were, uh, I had this cleric Asmar coming in, who was very death aligned. And I thought, okay, so prophecy, one of the important figures, is just themed around death. Obviously, the artificer and the fighter stayed, even though one, well, the fighter became an Echo Knight. As I said, it's like, hey, all these necromancers shithead skeletons are taking your job away. So I will let you swap. Oh no, I think I might have. I, oh wait, no, that's because they're doubled up. Okay. Ooh, I thought I did some layers that were not actually adjusted. But yeah, that was a easy choice. Artificer fighter left, so I knew they were definitely part of the prophecy. I had to be more vague with death because I had to somewhat have a chance of counting those other two people, despite them having leave. Sorry, having left because shitheadedness.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then luckily I came in with the grave domain of all things, so that still fit.
And then there was some asshole bard rogue.
who was not very
Who
well
just
thought
didn't
out.
know. Who just didn't know what
No,
the fuck his issue was.
he was being played by a teenager, and he acted like one.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, the guy was just a bumbling fucking idiot. Let's be honest with ourselves.
He revealed his like secret identity and agenda. What, like 10, 20 sessions into the game?
I mean, it had to come out eventually, and it meant he wasn't an absolute dipshit for sticking to it.
Yep.
But then he made the opposite mistake of switching up all of his subclasses, what, four separate times?
I just
No
made
comment.
adoptions too cool. Also, unfortunately, finding out some very annoying thing about this gift maker thing.
Mm,
But yeah, you guys were called the cleanup crew at some point. So
yeah, we were called the cleanup crew, and then we became the the main plot for some reason, even though I don't think any of us wanted to be.
no, no, not at all. But it was foisted upon the shoulders of your cleric, and the prophecy said you got to choose who was part of it. Let me do a quick check. Is the nope? The gift test is not being shown. Fun. And it's not even working. Even more fun.
Oh yeah, I, re- I remember now. It Derek, for anyone who didn't know, was an absolute maniac when it came to finding out any piece of lore or knowledge about the world, because magic's come back and some people's just been like, okay, that's cool, I can cast fireball, while he's here thinking, what does it mean when the metaphysical representation of a god can talk to you? Yeah, he's that kind of nut job that will ask all the details for everything.
The upside to
And
that sort of nut job, as a DM, I love that because it means all the little nothing setting details I never thought would see the light of day suddenly have a reason to be written.
yep, I think he was responsible for anyone in the party finding out. I'll be generous and say like maybe half the lore details that they know. Like little things from the fantasy race that people transform into is directly a response from their previous incarnation in life. If you're a dragonborn, you were probably something similar in your last life. Maybe an actual dragon, maybe a kobold, maybe a monstrous lizard of some kind. So, yeah, from little details like that to being the actual one to find out about the prophecy and declare it into the world. Which, now that I think about it, he really didn't have to drag the party into it. He could have named just more random people, but also, he knew he was part of it, and to hell if he was gonna do this alone.
Exactly. In fact, I remember you guys got the prophecy details before I had them actually written out and ironed out, due to one particular rogue bard in the party getting a good knowledge roll, and I had to kneecap that attempt by
Yes.
opening paragraph in that prophecy being it's like, and if you're reading this, Jasper, doing it so sorry, reading any further, you're gonna get fucked. And he had to go, well, I guess I can't do that. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I get two or
So
three
he handed
moves.
it over to me to read it.
And I had to give you the, like, Cliff's Notes version because I didn't have it all written out, but it gave a reason to not have everyone know the details I don't have ironed out, which was the important thing.
Mm. Jasper in the campaign was a changeling. What was it? Rogue bard, then
Changeling rogue bard, who then
and then
turned
he
into
became
a rogue
bard
wizard.
warlock.
Yeah, bard. No, uh,
You did
warlock
not.
rogue.
Yeah, you didn't have any wizard levels in that first campaign.
Sorry. So he was originally bard rogue, and then he became warlock rogue, and then he became a full warlock, and then what was
Died.
it? I think died and then came back as a different warlock.
Yeah, had like the evil parts of him turned into a slime, and
So
then that
he
slime.
essentially had four characters that were all the same person. Ne- I wouldn't have minded the subclass changes because sometimes in campaigns that happens. Story wise, maybe your life cleric gets a little more uh violent and decides to take up the art of war. I mean, Pike and Critical Role's done it. I wouldn't have minded that at all if it made sense in the story. The thing I did mind was he got to re-roll all of his stats.
I mean, it worked out well for you guys in the last time when the change was due to his patron, and so he also got to extend that benefit to you guys a bit. And you each got that one invocation, so long as it somewhat fit the class you guys have.
I don't think I ever used mine because none of us went down ever.
No, but it was very important you did have that. Because before you guys got that option, you found out, hey, this domain of dread, if we die there, we're going to be bonded there like a curse.
Yeah, not the best thing to find out.
Mm-hmm. And then the fucker betrayed the party and almost trapped me in that Dome of Dread if it wasn't for a 9th level counter spell.
Yeah, that guy was a little goblin, and I've told both Lucy and Michael this before that, given in retrospect, if I could have gone back and done it all again, I would gladly do it in a heartbeat because that initial class setup is kind of just setting up the first domino to a bigger chain reaction onto myself.
Apparently that was an option.
Mm.
Unfortunately, time travel is yet to be invented.
Oh no, it's
No,
completely impossible in my campaigns. Time
Oh yeah,
travel is
it's
just
been
going to a different timeline.
timeline. Yeah,
yeah.
we've done that. Remember with Santa Claus?
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. A fun
Like
That's a weird.
interpretation of it.
we
Had
fully
some.
did that when we had this one shot for Christmas. For anyone wondering, where Derek, as a he has a lot of problems, but one of those problems was he was raised in a very strict Christian household. Well, mm, Protestant evangelism, I think, was the specific thing. It doesn't really matter. Basically, uh, his childhood was rough emotionally, and his parents very early on taught him, well, his mother specifically, very early on taught him that Santa Claus isn't real. That's just capitalism at work, and you know, learning that as a kid from your parent is rough. But when magic came back and all these mythological figures popped out of the woodworks, you got Jesus Christ, like yelling at people in Parliament. You got Hercules being, it's like Heracles being uh, LGBT icon. Uh, you got Odin talking to your very financially savvy friend every other week. And he decided, you know what? Screw you, Mom. I'm gonna find Santa Claus and see if he's actually real. And I'm gonna ask him why didn't he ever listen to any of my Christmas wishes. He never really fully let the child part of him die out.
What
So out
was
of
what was Santa Claus's reason for that again? What
The
did Nick say?
the reason was Santa Claus can only go where he is welcome, and those parents were not very welcoming of the spirit of Santa Claus. They were just that overly Christian in the wrong direction, which was made very obvious when you guys later discovered the mom was a pseudo-terrorist attacking
yeah, mhm.
foreigners from another dimension with cantrips.
But yeah, Derek, out of pure spite, researched for a few months and found the secret demiplane that was the North Pole.
Oh god,
Right.
I don't think I even have that map on Cruel 20 anymore, but I know I made him huge. Like literal 15 by 15 huge.
Uh, which is it's also kind of ironic because turns out Santa Claus was actually Saint Nicholas, like the actual saint.
Yep, patron saint of prostitutes.
What a guy.
So yeah, if it hasn't been obvious yet, I love Derek. He's my little boy. I love torturing him emotionally. So does Nick, apparently, because he got the shit end of the deal when it comes to Destiny.
I mean, if you can't torture your loved ones, what's the point of it for D&D?
Do you want to explain the entire mess that is Derek's fate, or want to just keep it in the back burner?
Let's see. The funnest details from my perspective is so this probably needs a little bit of run up first.
Hmm.
Uh, the first sentient beings created in all of time were the first draft of angels, and they weren't designed to be sentient. It was a bit of a goof by just a pair of deity siblings who did not get along, and they suffered for it. They were uh, they were beings of two souls, and for their what was seen as betrayal of going against the brothers who made them, their souls were split. Oh, not rotate. I needed scale. They were split apart, and thus the first soulmates. Derek was soulmates to one very handsome but geriatric librarian, and
Cool.
their soulmate relationship was that of a teacher and student. Because, I mean, what's the point of soulmates if they can't be more than just lovers for all eternity? There are some
They
who
were not.
were like
They were
siblings.
not lovers. Just to be clear, they were platonic soulmates in the literal sense, not in the romantic sense. He was not going to boink an ancient librarian. He doesn't love books that much.
But yeah, that only came about because originally, and I think I've said this in another stream, but Lucy as an NPC was supposed to be a red herring. It was supposed to be, it's like, here's this fiendish looking and sounding guy who is absolutely a fallen angel, sure, but he's not actually involved in any of the plots people think he is. But these guys, like the two here, the uh, Lonnie and Beck, they just kept interacting with him. And eventually he just became this kind of pseudo grandfatherly figure to the group, helping out but not doing anything for them. It's like, here's some tools, here are my resources helping you, but you need to do the legwork. And you know, that potential red herring was just tossed out the window because it was not as good as this party being pseudo adopted by the literal fallen angel Lucy.
Mm-hmm. Lucy, who runs the Morningstar archives. It is honestly shocking. No one else has figured it out.
I mean, he passes for just a normal ass dude. He doesn't have the halo visible all the time like you.
Oh well, not anymore, right? When Derek got his Halo, he got a bit of a. Mm,
You did get that changed to more like floating eye of Sauron look at times. You advance upon your what do we call it, celestial heritage.
yeah, well, he got those demon eyes for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was very shocked the first time you tried to speak in multiple languages at once in tongues, just like Lucy did when he revealed that he was Lucy.
I thought it was a cool ability,
Oh,
and
it was
I didn't.
cool, but it shocked me. It's like you're gonna try and replicate something a fallen angel who has still been alive all these centuries did. Oh, I can't remember what I set the DC at, but it was apparently not high enough. You
I mean, it worked. So I don't know physically how my vocal cords did it, but I managed to do it.
Yeah, you got just under the DC, and I said, you know what, that's good enough to succeed, but hurt himself. And I think I had you roll your own hit dice for that damage.
Yeah. So I learned a neat trick where I can talk in multiple tongues at once, but it hurt me every single time, like I'm speaking a forbidden language.
Yeah, I think you only did it twice, but it's pretty much a souped up, what is it, Word of Radiance cantrip. But
Yeah.
damn, what a party trick.
Never used it for any mechanical benefit or anything. It's just if ever in his life he just needed to intimidate someone, he could.
And knowing is half the battle.
Uh, yeah. I he was on a path to godhood as any to powerful enough wizard with aspirations
Oh,
were.
oh yeah, the starting point of this whole backstory getting into. Uh, Derek, over time, wanted to get the sort of power, as wizards do, comparative to the gods. Which especially worked with the whole theurgist subclass. And then he found out from good old Lucy that he that whole being split apart by the gods was in part fear that these angels would try to beat them, like
Take over.
like Zeus to his father. I got who's
Kronos,
Kronos, yeah,
and who Kronos who did to Uranus. The new taking over from the old.
yeah, which is definitely something that's changed a bit over these centuries. Those original gods not being there, but the ones that have kind of replaced them over time kind of believed it too, because what else are they going to believe? So, him wanting to pursue power compared to the gods after being split from the power that scared the gods, it put him in risk. End of the campaign, though, he did achieve it. He absolutely did. He got a 10th level spell created from scratch. And
Without being a god, technically he never broke his promise.
but that was close enough that the other gods went like, well, that's a threat, and killed, like full on smote every other timeline Derek.
They did?
Yep. I think we've only
Oh, I just
talked about it once where you learned, but it's like, yeah, you got to the danger zone. The gods were not going to wait to see you actually make good on that.
wait. I thought they only smote him.
No, they smote every other version. They cannot just straight up kill a god. But a god's power in my campaign comes in part from followers, but far more of it from every other timeline where they also became deity level powerful.
So wait, how did I actually die in the campaign?
For the purpose of stuff that happens to affect the later campaign, campaign 3 in space, uh, it'll be under the assumption that was one of the alternate Dereks that got close but smote. In the main one, uh, we haven't really touched on that. Mostly because nothing's going to actually come from it. I've seen what you did as a deity in... Wait, no, sorry, I got it mixed up. You became a deity in Busky's campaign, which
Ah,
almost got you smote in any of mine.
no, he did not.
Didn't he say that you became a figurative god there?
Figurative being the word. He remember when in that one shot I don't think Busk really minds because it's you remember when in that one shot where he brought a simulacrum of himself.
Yes.
So what he did, he made a magical construct that would basically put a gate, he would gatekeep the power of the wish spell from all other entities. It wasn't actually him. It was just a magical creation that had his memories at that exact point in time, but it could not, grow as a person. It wasn't alive in the sense that it had a soul. A, it was like a simulacrum. It was just a copy of him in that point in time.
Then yeah, I guess it has just been so long since we spoke about how he died. Then yeah, it was him becoming borderline deity level, and all the other ones got smoot. And then I didn't talk about what got actual him killed after that because it's not going to come up. I sorry, I don't know Derek well enough to fully predict everything he might do once he reaches
In
deity level.
response,
Yeah, and honestly, I'm sure I could trust you not to go crazy with telling me what he would do in the campaign, but I think it's much more interesting just leave it for there's your little in for any of a campaign you run in the future. So
I'm not
living
going to
him
DM.
ran to another timeline or something, maybe trying to save one of his alters.
Wait, this is the plot of Loki at this point.
Oh, the show, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking it's like my Loki never did that.
It's Marvel Loki.
Yeah, I've
It wasn't
actually
the
not
point of
seen that show.
basically there's this like
I've
the
seen much of the trailers to get the gist. The what's it? The Something Authority. There's a football Loki. I remember that.
yeah, basically all timelines exist, right? Like time's a tree, it branches out.
Mm-hmm.
But these assholes dictated that there is a sacred timeline, the canonical timeline, that must be preserved above all else, and that whenever new timelines pop up from choices being made or just little facts being different, like, oh, in this version, Loki actually killed Thor as a kid, or in this version, Loki ran away, or in this version, Loki had a good childhood. Uh, the assholes just kind of come in, kidnap that version of Loki, and just completely prune that timeline out of existence. Just erased.
Honestly, that raised the question to me: is if they're powerful to just prune these alternate Lokis, how is TV show Loki ever able to like undo or defeat them to any degree? Just that
Oh,
weird TV show logic.
he ended up he ended up working for those same guys. It's sort of like, yeah, you're powerful, or it's like it's a sort of a corporate company than actual, evil, maniacal, genocidal maniacs.
Oh, I got that point. I just mean like the point of the show has got to be he tries to get back at them or break free or something, right?
Oh, he does. He does not manage to succeed. Uh, In fact, I think the entire end of the first season is where all the sacred timeline fully falls apart and all other timelines, come into existence once more. Well, like the timelines actually split and be the tree was supposed to be. The implications of it, I don't know because I haven't watched the second season, but basically the leader of the place can see into the future up to a certain point, and past that point in time, he literally has no idea what's going to happen. And the only reason why they succeeded, the good guys succeeded, is that they delayed enough that they actually passed that point in time.
Already a better time travel plot than frickin' Infinity War. That's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. I think that there was one theory a guy on Reddit made where when they like ran Loki and WandaVision back to back, the exact moment where the big bad pauses in the middle of his conversation and realizes that, oh, they've passed that point of no return, is the exact point where Wanda became the Scarlet Witch.
Uh, Honestly, they're just trying too much hard at this point. It's like,
Yeah,
I think they've reached the point where there's just too many movies and properties going on at once.
yeah. They're trying to condense down an entire multiverses worth of comics into 30-minute episodes and 90, maybe 120 minute movies, which that ain't gonna work. It's why you have hundreds of comics and not just a handful of dozens.
And comics that, because it's America, usually only come out one, maybe two in a week. It's like, there's nothing that big in Japan because they don't do anything that big. That's why they're able to get them out once a week in most cases.
Yeah, like comic book characters are afforded time to develop, to be nuanced, to, get rebooted if they have to. Movie characters, they get, if it's a franchise, at most, maybe 5 hours of screen time. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. But so I guess, so Derek fully, he kept his word. He didn't achieve godhood, but then the gods decided to screw him over anyway. So I guess at that point he just decided to go all the way. Is that what happened?
Pretty much. You made a 10th level spell that is all about, what was it, like the ultimate like information gathering kind of spell, right?
Omniscience. Yeah.
Omniscience, yeah. And omniscience is realm of the gods, not destructive by any means, but it's enough that they gave a shit, and so Derek had to give a shit. But yeah, I do think campaign setting proper, the timeline will always be where the Derek got like really close to that point, but got smited. But like the plot suggestion you had, his 10th level spell might very well be out there floating in the ether for some poor soul to find.
How did Lucy handle that?
Well, the very sad thing about Lucy is While not a deity, he can connect with his selves in the other timelines. They are all independent, but he can like communicate, know what they know, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So the grief is just immeasurable.
So he's kind of catatonic at this point.
He's not catatonic. He's had a lot of centuries of practice. Ooh, but he is very much in pain. Everything he had to go through.
Didn't it take Derek decades to actually complete that spell? Why didn't Lucy just step in and say, "Hey, you're going to die because of this"?
Because he wasn't next to you when you were studying it. He did not know. He does not have the omniscience, he just can communicate with his other selves. Let's see.
So wait, was campaign one Derek the one responsible, or was just another version of him? Right.
Uh, Campaign 1 version was responsible. But that was also like
Mhm.
the main timeline that everything else branches from. Which is why a lot of the events that happened in Campaign 1 will still appear in Campaign 3. For any viewers who are confused, Campaign 2 is a,
Prequel.
yeah. It happened in the past.
And campaign 3, is it set in the main timeline then, or?
No, it's just off the main timeline. Like I said, I don't want Godly Derek to be an option, but it's close enough that that information might be nearly complete, as a different one almost completed it.
Okay. So how would Derek respond to this completely unfair judgment? I think I don't want to make any concrete rules, but I don't think he would take it well.
No, he is not the poster child of a healthy person emotionally.
hmm I It's funny because at the start he didn't have any problems with gods or divinity. He was honestly just curious. He just wanted to know stuff. He wasn't planning on the committing deicide or anything like that. As the campaign went on, I could tell that he was starting to really get annoyed at how unfair all like, all the judgment was. So I think there is a good chance that the smiting of every other version of himself just because he wanted to know. He, I think that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back for him.
Understandable.
I don't think he goes full evil where destroy the world or anything. No, world has nothing to do with this. It's just the gods. So hmm. Now, Nick, I'm just kind of curious. He managed to make a 10th level spell while he was still mortal. What can he actually do now that he fully just dived into the deep end, beat and became a god?
see, he can't go between timelines. For one, because he would not have became that sort of deity, and two, that
Hmm.
takes a lot less power if you've got a version of yourself over there.
Right.
Let's
So
see.
it's like madness of the multiverse where you just kind of jump into different versions of yourselves.
No, think of it more as okay. Think of different timelines as two sides of a river. It the river's moving super fast, but it's not very wide. If you take a running jump, you might be able to clear it, but it's risky. If you got someone on the other side, though, they can catch you and pull you over before you fall in.
Hmm.
I think that's the
Correct.
easiest way I can explain that. Because I
Okay.
am pulling that out of my ass right now, but it feels right.
Oh, okay. That's fine. So the versions of yourself in different timelines are like anchor points.
Yeah.
And Derek doesn't have any, so if he ever tried, uh, it'd be a bad idea.
Yeah. Like I said, it'd take a lot more power. And doing it by himself, that would leave him very vulnerable.
So he probably would stay in the main timeline. What? Okay, you know him. You're his soulmate. What do you think he'd do?
Crazy. But yeah, I think knowing that he can't go over physically, his best route, if you want to kind of stick one to the gods who smote every other timeline, kneecapping his power, the best way would be to try to figure out how to send a magical message in a bottle. It's like, here's my knowledge, do with it as you will.
To which timeline?
To any. I assume just starting with the closest ones. Because,
Oh, then.
you already know you're not the only former angel that was split like this.
Oh no, no. Like Lucy and Derek were just nominated as commander. Was that right?
Uh, Commander is a strong word. Closer to say union representatives.
Representative.
Yep.
Yeah, they were just the ones that were best at talking. Ironic, given that he had 10 charisma, but okay.
That's just about being persuasive. Knowing how to not stammer, that's a whole other skill set.
So you know what? I think yeah, you can veto this as the god of the world as a DM, but I think Derek
Please,
would
tell me
fully
to let
just
another void.
I think Derek would yeah, I think he just tried to bring back that original race of angels. Maybe not as they were, but just as they should have been, you know, people with a chance to live.
I mean, people's a strong word. If only because they were created to be servants. Yeah, a ambitious goal, very fitting for Derek and all his literary pursuits over the years. God, it's still so funny that you took like better part of a year to try and make that 10th level spell, and took your family stepping in. It's like we're worried about you. I should did that on the wrong layer.
Yeah, he'd broadcast all of his knowledge into every single timeline that he could get his hands on and watch the chaos unfold. because the reason why they smote him in the first place was because he was getting too close to the truth.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate timeline for Derek's many, many lives.
I assume Lucy doesn't follow him on this ambition.
No, he's the various hymns already tried all they could. He'll just sit it back, figurative home, and be ready to dig whatever graves he may need to.
For Derek.
Oh, I never said that. He knows Derek's power. He might very well take a few of those gods with him. And what better fuck you than to say, it's like, hey, I'm not involved, but I'll bury your dead for you.
Does this estrange them? I feel like this would be a big hamper on whatever relationship they had.
I think that would be up to Derek's side of that relationship. Because all Lucy wants was for you to be able to have another happy life. He was just happy to have been able to be part of this one, but it didn't go perfectly.
I think for a few decades, a century at most, Derek would have kept away, partly out of guilt for the pain that it would have caused Lucy. Like, he's smart enough to figure that out. And partly just to get, his own shit together. He's a god now, he's got to figure out these powers, and he's, you know, actually make a plan forward. And then I think eventually the loneliness gets to him because he became a god after everyone else he knew died. He canonically lived longer than everyone else, even in Penny, who also became a god.
Yeah.
So I think eventually, not very long by God's standard, but very long by mortal standard, he reaches out back to Lucy to one, apologize, two, reconnect, and knowing what he knows, he would not dare to ask him to be involved, but he would hope so, at least for support, if nothing else. Like, give me your blessing.
Man, that is a mighty big request for what Lucy would have been through at that point. But he just can't say no to a student who's trying his best.
So yeah, I think with the quest Derek is now on, it ends in two ways. Well, two big ways. Like, it can end in a lot of ways, but either he succeeds and every other person in the timelines, you know, is recognized now as a person that shouldn't be, viewed as a ticking time bomb. Like, oh, it was your own fear that made this happen in the first place. Or he dies, but he uh, takes out as many of these assholes as he can get his hands on, which is probably a lot. So representation or death, I guess.
Sounds about right. Oh god, I should save here. Let's see. With what I
Yeah,
can
sorry,
do.
I've been talking about my character for so long. I forgot. This is your stream. You're
No,
doing stuff.
no, this is all monotonous. Something to talk about over this, because the last like 20 minutes, I've been working on just moving this one back and forth. Three of these do not move at all. I already got these done for when I made the test gift to make sure I knew how to do it. And 20 minutes just moving this one back and forth slowly. There are a total of, let's see, some of these I just duplicated instead of like physically making again. So let's see, there's up to 16, 15 down but not to 1. So there's a total of 30 frames. I have a whole framework just so I remember the limits, where the stop points are. When this one
Okay.
goes out, it goes to the dots, but when it comes back in, it goes to the halves. Because it's broken. It's going to be a stuttery fuck.
So so wait, campaign 3, the space campaign.
Mm-hmm.
If it is canonical that every other version of Derek just got smoked into oblivion, does that mean if we start off in the academy, Headmaster Derek just gets vaporized?
No, it is in the overall timelines, this one would be far enough off the branch. It takes point in the individual timeline before the Great Smiting. But no, he will not live long enough to get great godhood powers.
Oh, so he's alive when the campaign starts, but at some point
He's gonna just
is
poof
going
out
to.
of nowhere, which I think is gonna be just a hilarious event to have him like a random chance table. It's like we finally found the headmaster again. It's like 20 sessions later, poof. It's like, why did he die? No.
Okay. And I assume when you say smote, is like, oh, that Derek no longer exists. Whatever soul they have is gone. There's no bringing them back.
There's not even a pile of dust. Yeah. Just very quickly, we're gonna save. We're gonna delete this other stuff that makes the preview shit the
Okay.
bed.
So I guess knowing that, there's no way that my campaign 3 character is a new incarnation of Derek.
No.
Like, that is not possible. They're just their own thing.
Correct.
Then what the hell
Okay.
are they?
Knowledge can potentially come up. A reincarnation cycle is not limited by a timeline. He could certainly be a pre-Derek life.
That watches his future self be obliterated. So if he knew that, it's like, okay, when I die, I won't get reincarnated forever. Which is kind of fucked up if you think about it. It's like,
Just a little bit. Okay. So I've got the preview window of the GIF now. Let's switch over to that in OBS and see if it works.
I guess one last question before I drop the Derek topic, because that's a whole rabbit hole I could go down all day. If he fully just threw up his hands and say, fuck it, I'm gonna get godhood anyway, because at this point, what do I have to lose? What would he been the god of?
Let's see, you said for Derek?
Yeah, like, because at that point, all of his friends are dead. His family or whatever descendants he would have had are generations removed. Lucy is is, overcome with grief for a long time. So he's gonna stay away from that for a bit. He doesn't really have much besides his own knowledge and whatever other research he could do. At that point, he would just put his hands up, say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get godhood," because what else can they do at this point? So what would he been what's his purview?
If we're talking cleric domains, arcana and knowledge for sure. If we're talking big general sense, like how Raven Queen has also got the Tide of Ravens, you've got your Pigeon Bob. I think
Oh,
I think one of your lesser domains would be of incredible pet names. Something you would share with Hades and his dog Kerberos, which is Greek slang for spot. No. On a more serious note, I think. So the other day we had that discussion about the core values of deities for your setting idea. If we were going off of that, I think the core value for Derek would be curiosity. Like so many questions he asked, completely unimportant to the plot, but he just had to know. And that is like absolutely fair. Some grander things might be not notation, because I think at one point part of your spell book got destroyed. Oh, we forgot the fun fact about Derek.
oh,
In my campaign, because magic just suddenly came back, the first spell books were made by accident. Derek made his from the like German family Bible, like one of those
oh
thick
yeah,
leather bound tomes. In the process, all the
right.
pages are just wiped.
Yeah, in an act of very very early on, basically, Derek, when magic came back and all the shit happened, he was overseas, in university, basically higher education. Uh, kind of, yeah, he was deeply in debt because his family, well, more like his mother, cut him off for, well, being homophobic. And so, yeah, I think in response, when he became a wizard, it's like, I need a spell book to put all of this knowledge that I'm accumulating. Chose the family's Bible as a fuck you because he became an Asimar when magic came back. And his mom did a complete 180 of like, please come back. This is a sign from God that he forgives your sins. And it's like, bitch,
Forgets
really?
my what now? It's like fuck you.
So yeah, his spell book, the it from the outside literally just looks like a regular Bible, which kind of poetic if you think about it, because it has cleric spells inside.
Yeah, spells that no other normal wizard can learn, and was a minor plot point when you guys went to that steampunk city in the Feywild.
Oh yeah, there were other Thurgists in existence that got run out or something.
No, it wasn't they were run out. The third Theurgist was that Treant wizard that you had the opportunity to meet, but wasn't important enough for your current goal. So you said we'll come back later, and we will assume that Derek did in fact come back later. We just didn't touch on in the post-campaign info gathering.
Oh yeah, no, like post campaign is like over decades of time. Like everyone else had families and such. My thing just went past the normal mortal lifespan. So that also means canonically he would have gone back to that Pizza Hut Taco Bell restaurant in space.
He certainly would have tried. Eventually, your guys' I don't think I said ban. I think it's a different word. You just weren't allowed.
Suspension.
That was it. Just not allowed back for a good amount of time. You guys did start a fight in there and attack its mimic babies, so it was not unjustified.
No, but he's a god now. He can wait.
Well, no, I just meant the suspension being not unjustified.
Oh yeah, no. But so he would be the god of curiosity.
Yes, he asked so many questions over the years. So we'll start this layer on that point.
Hmm. All right, fair enough. Then, what would Lucy be the god of if he ever decided to step up? I don't think he would, given everything he's been through. But
If he did, he would be a lesser god, like no major domains, but his domain would be the god of hermits.
that is,
I mean, is there a better term for holding oneself up in a library to distract himself from all the horrors going on in the world?
I mean, no, that's very much Lucy. But uh, isn't it a thing where a god can't really go against their domain?
Uh, Kinda, yeah.
So like Hades will never be able to sustain a garden, for example.
Correct. The closest would be a figurative, like, graveyard type situation.
Yeah, so if Lucy became the god of hermits, doesn't mean he's never going to come out of that mindset.
Sure, but people, well, in certain settings, people go seek out hermits for their advice. So he wouldn't be alone, he just wouldn't, like, leave, you know? Still unhealthy, but, not as bad.
I would have thought he'd be like the god of enlightenment or something to mirror Derek, but all right.
No. I mean, when he was an angel, he was in charge of epiphanies, but that wasn't really what he wanted. That was just what his assigned job was.
Uh, what did he want? Like before shit hit the fan, what was his aspirations?
To encourage the growth and curiosity of his other self.
Well, he did. He never stopped.
Yeah, that'd be the one regret, not teaching you how to stop.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, Derek
If
got
there's a
a lot
camp,
done.
yeah. If there's a campaign 4, I really hope that this plot point is tackled. Like, I don't want this to be nebulous forever.
What, the godhood of Derek?
Like, what happens to him? Does he succeed? Does he fail? Is the timeline completely fucked?
The answer for the space time one, yeah, that will potentially come up. It will be another one of those side plots if you guys decide to follow it. It'll also be up to the rest of the party wanting to know. It's like, yeah, what is going to happen to meta knowledge Derek?
I want him to succeed, but I'm biased because I play him. But there's also, it's just, there's too many too many stories out there of heroes falling, before they reach the end. Theseus, Orpheus, a lot of Greek heroes actually. It's where you root for them and they come up short.
And it's almost like they wanted people to know it's like you might be destined for failure, and that's okay. It's gonna suck for sure, but it's not your fault.
Nah, Derek could go fuck that.
Man, it is a good thing that Busk's already left the call because phrasing.
Uh, well, I'm glad my campaign 2 character is nowhere this complicated.
Oh yeah, there's no complication to Hunter whatsoever.
Well, no, like universal level truths complicated. He's complicated person-wise, but not like his existence isn't important to the universe.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to finally get a look at your brother, knowing what is up with that.
What do you mean?
I think it's going to raise more questions than answers.
What? He's 9.
Yes, and part of the plot point is the enemies can't find him if they can't look into your dreams and see what he actually looks like.
I assume he's just a kid. Maybe he changed an Aerococrum at that. Or, hopefully not an Aerococrum. That would suck. But or
Hollow bones, all the drumstick jokes.
or maybe a Vidalcan. Like he wouldn't care what race he was. But I assume that's not what you meant.
Correct. Because you have in your head that he is, like, bullied or being othered in some way.
Is he the bully?
No. He is certainly othered to some degree, but it is not for his race.
Then what? Does he have magic? Like as at a very young age? Is he like a budding sorcerer? What? It's not Jesus Christ incarnate because Jesus is yelling at politicians.
I mean, I've already revealed that, reincarnation is not exactly chronological.
Yeah, but he's not Jesus. You wouldn't do that.
No. It's like we already did reincarnation business in the first campaign. I wouldn't redo that.
No, so it has to be something else. But I I don't know. It is it just funny for when you see my reaction, or is it actually important to the plot?
It's going to be funny for your reaction of it.
Okay. It's not like a floating ball of is he a beholder? No, it's not his race. You said that, so it's not. So it's something about him. Yeah, I'm stumped. I don't know.
And you will know when the time is right.
When is that? Because he's not safe until the campaign ends.
I mean, that is certainly true. I have not had the opportunity to mess with anyone's siblings in game yet. Maze does not count for campaign 1, because he is also very important in his own right, and you would have met him even if Andrea wasn't related. copy pasting all this. It's taking so much longer than I would have expected. But yeah, you have the opportunity, whenever you want to in character, to find out his race. Because you have the video of him by way of Coral, because he only gave you an audio to listen to. But it's always there to tempt you. Shit, I can't remember.
Is it a I will recognize it when I see it kind of thing?
Yes. I had to think to make sure it's like, would he recognize it? Yeah, you would.
Is he an ASMR?
No. I will give you a very small hint for why not, because there's going to be some fun ASMR business in Campaign 3 with Beck's character idea. I don't want to say more than that because it's still like in the works, but the one person being an ASMR is very important.
Oh. Oh, is she going with the stoner then?
Possibly. I think they might be getting some changes in the first version she shared with us. But yeah, that's why I don't want to talk on it too much, because who knows how much is going to change. We're still probably better part of a year of this campaign. I mean, we're going quite fast, but yeah.
Fair enough. So we got an Asimar, a Tiefling, a Vampire, and
Dust.
okay, I need to come up with like a name for them. Mechanically, they're reborn, but I think it's fair if I just come up with an actual name for their race. Right? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't want to call them a space cop forever. Fuck. What do I call them? Oh shit! No, what do I actually call them? Because yeah, fuck it. I can't think of anything else right now. So how about I just call them Starburn? Starborn.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Because also it sounds like Starbird, which in a space campaign, if there were more of them, I imagine they'd all have a sense of wanderlust and just be on ships all the time.
If they're common, yeah.
Starborn.
Now we're gonna need a sweet cover of a Fireborn, one Destiny rap someone made on YouTube.
Hold on to hope. I know that one.
And I should hope so. That was one of the better ones. I didn't even know it was about Destiny at first. I just went, man, this is a banger.
From the spark will be. Yeah, okay, copyright. Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna sing well enough to trigger that. You're good.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, if anyone's still here after my inane rambling of this one character that I don't even play anymore,
You're my favorite type of
yeah,
people, for one.
I am a guy that likes to go very in depth when it comes to backstory and lore. And part of me likes torturing my characters, but part of me also likes my characters completely upending the balance of the world.
Which is why, if we do indeed shift away from 5e due to continued bullshit from Wizards of the Coast, it will be to a more roleplay heavy system. Because you guys do that great.
Does that mean I have more freedom to cause shit to happen with the world because rules are nebulous?
Oh, absolutely. That's like the big fun point of a role playing system. It's like because there's no hard mechanics limiting such endeavors, it's a lot easier to get away with things that would break a session in 5e.
Oh, I feel like I'd have fun with that.
Yeah, if you guys don't like the cipher system, which I'm gonna judge partially by uh, let me just go ahead and shout out someone here. It's I think I've got that spelled correctly. Does it work when I yes? It Takes All Grinds is doing a campaign tomorrow in the cipher system, and she is likely to have a VOD because they're going to do a couple sessions in that, and it is Spider Verse themed. Absolutely,
Ooh.
I'm shouting them out, and watching that is going to be part of the deciding factor if I think that system will work with how you guys play. But yeah, they and some of the other Barista Brigade crew will be playing that. Let's see. I'm blanking on some of their names, but I know Baraka is doing a magic themed Spider-Man. I can't remember the name for her character, but I know it's very tied to Athena, because you know, the whole myth of Arachne and all that.
Oh yeah, the Weaver.
And there's another character, I believe they said the name is Goliath Spider, so size is going to be a thing. But yeah, they're great people,
I'm
so I'm sure it'll be interesting. It just sucks during the same time as our campaign.
I'm looking it up now. The cipher system revolves around a difficulty scale of 1 to 10,
Mm-hmm.
and players can reduce that difficulty with tools, experience, if you're a mechanic, fixing a spaceship is slightly easier than if you were a, a mailman, for example.
Yep. And they
Not
also
by a
have
whole lot, but,
and
but
they,
probably by a bit.
and they also have a bunch of different like setting books that are like broad enough you can still adapt them. There is
Okay.
one that's I can't remember the name that they call it, but it's pretty much Spider Verse. It's hopping different realities and fixing things.
Mm.
Yeah,
You gain experience points when you make discoveries or succeed in the. Ooh,
mm-hmm.
okay.
That's the other thing. Uh, Getting experience tied to things other than just combat.
Oh, I'm gonna like this then, because I am going to nitpick everything about the world.
Yeah, I don't think Girls by Moonlight would be a good system for it, because it's more built for being like a season of anime type storylines, which I feel like would be too short for our group. It'd be nice for a nice little break between the main campaign, but I don't think it could be the main campaign, you know?
Hmm. Ciphers are one-time use abilities. Okay. They affect the campaign in large ways. They could be magic potions, alien tech, or even divine blessings or magical inspiration. They're designed for frequent discovery. Oh, so you can hoard them if you want, but you're gonna find them like peanuts.
Yep. Think of it like how inspiration should be in 5e, because there's no easy way to get inspiration, it's just DM fiat. It's like, yeah, sure, you can have
Yeah.
this.
Okay. You can only have a small number of ciphers at a given time. Fair. Just so they don't hoard it forever. And since they're always finding more, they're encouraged to use them at a steady pace. Why ciphers? Characters have abilities that rarely or never change and can always be counted on. I mean, yeah, if you're a wizard, you're always gonna be a wizard. Ciphers give them additional abilities that are ever changing. but one-time use. Okay. Okay. So they're not permanent upgrades. They're just power boosts that you use every once in a while.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. It's a lot less. It's a more bare bones than 5e, I'll say, but that also means a lot more freedom. To be fair.
Hmm. Yeah, the other big one I'm thinking, if Cypher seems like too much or anything, which I doubt, that company is pretty solid. The backup that is just a system I've already used, Fate Core, especially because we can test that with their Fate Accelerated, which instead of a bunch of skills you choose, it's just the 6 stats. So you get less options for how much you can boost them, but a lot more broad, so it's good for just like quick testing a system. Oh boy.
Hmm.
Well, we got a lot done. Ooh. Even with a special back brace to keep me from shrimping, my shoulders are hurting from this. So I think we are
Ooh.
gonna go ahead and get rid of this extra stuff to test how this looks. We've got the 3 main ones that are in sync with each other. These 3, which are all kind of slightly off. Let's see how good this looks. First, I gotta delete those because for some reason these kind of like mini folders kind of screws up how it works. So I gotta take it out. Wait a sec. I'm gonna undo these deletes, and then I'm gonna save it because then I don't have to go undo it and save later. There we go.
Right. Test it. Test it.
I gotta move all these out. Like I said, these folders mess up the preview. Like I said, there are 30 of these frames. But
You're gonna be a VTuber.
uh, not a
Um.
VTuber. I like being mostly PNG, but I want the halo to be moving, because then I can do the kind of like PNG cosplay, where I can get a semi-custom avatar of whatever character I'm talking about in the story. I can pop out a Derek's character instead of this old man librarian. Alright, so let's see. First, we need to get the animation filter up.
Ooh. I, hmm.
Always goes
I
full
just
size.
I just thought of a terrible idea that Derek might contemplate.
Oh no. Well, let's start with that before I play this GIF just to hear it.
Uh, what happened to Grandmother Void?
That I'm not certain of. So I definitely haven't talked about this on stream, so anyone interested, super, super brief description. Very first deity of all is referred to as Grandmother Void. She was there before anything, got lonely. Because she's not a goddess of creation, her creation of life did not come out great. Popped out 2 twin suns, light and dark, and all kinds of chaos came from that, which is why it is
Uh-huh.
inherently a chaotic universe. And after the quote unquote rebellion slash union rising of the angels, she just took the gods of dark and light and vanished. So I'm not certain where they went after that. It could be there is a ultimate alternate timeline that she retreated to with her sons to just observe how everything branched out. She might come back one day, she might not. Maybe her sons pop out someday. No idea. But I only know
Okay.
their story as the ultimate origin of everything to just build off of other like eldritch beings, the great old ones and whatnot.
Okay. Because my terrible idea was if Derek ever found out about how this all started, I think for a second he'd just contemplate What if I just went to her and asked her to step in?
That would
Did
absolutely be a horrendous idea. Ooh boy, but it'd be very interesting.
because she's a grandmother. She has a lot of grandkids. She coddles all of them, but I don't think any grandmother would like seeing their children's children being treated unfairly.
That would be fair. Also, how does this look, Michael?
It looks painful.
Yep. It will be slower in the actual version. For some reason, it's sped up on GIMP to just pretty much one
Oh, I
frame.
don't see it.
Oh, you
I
don't?
just see a still image.
Oh,
No.
wait, I gotta. Sorry, I didn't change the screen on Discord. Let me go to that. I think I first need to end this one. Yeah, stream went great. Anyway, share screen with this now. I think this is the right window. Can you see that?
Oh, ooh, ah,
Yep. So yeah, we'll go ahead and end that to Discord, seeing as we're gonna start wrapping up. Uh,
ouch.
I mean, it doesn't actually hurt, and like I said, it is much faster than the actual one will be. But
I
yeah,
know, but it's still a representation of Lucy's metaphysical pain, which, ooh,
yeah, and there's still another. Let's see, where's the? Do I have the? Wait, I guess I do have to do all the undos just so I can go back to the guide and see how many spike keys are left. There we are. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spikes. And there would be an additional, I think it's 3 if it was not broken. Let's see. 1, 2, yep, 3 more that are just as shattered. Dang, I wish I could preview the GIF with a whole circle thing here. Because you might have noticed that one of those spikes is broken and it is overlapping one of these
mhm.
broken shards. I think it's going to look super cool with the just break going in and out of each other like that.
Oh, okay, okay.
But sadly, the way I do the individual frames on GIMP, if I add that circle halo bit, it's going to be so much more difficult to put the spikes in. Just with all the guide
Fair.
layers I have, so I just it's just there, and I'll have to duplicate it and then merge with every layer when I get to that point. But I mean, like I said, in the meantime, I got a lot done. Not as much as I thought, but it was nice having people to chat with to make it pass a little quicker.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah.
Also, Nick, while you're still on here,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna see this, but well, your stream's not gonna see this, but remember that completely break your frame rate game that I showed you a bit of a while back, Vampire Survivors.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're sharing on Discord.
So yeah, I found the endless mode.
Oh, oh Lord.
Yeah, it's been going on for 5 hours,
Oh
just in the
God, that
background.
that is just so much going on. Boy.
Yep. And I found a mechanic where you can permanently upgrade your character's stats, like a little bit at a time.
Is that a good thing?
There are over 2 dozen characters, and it'll take several hundred runs to fully upgrade each one. I am never going to escape.
Well, that is absolutely fair. And so much it's almost hurting my eyes. Thank goodness that's the mini stream view for me. Oh man.
So many numbers.
Yeah, let's see who to raid over to. I'm sure I don't have too many people. Who the fuck is calling me? Okay, nothing I have to do right now. So yeah, we've got... unfortunately, none of the barista grade is on, or I'd be going over to them, seeing as I gave them the mention. See, Alan's usually good. He's doing some dungeon delving and dark and darker. He gets kind of in that. I don't want to distract him too much, so how about... No, we did an art stream. Let's go over to Palia Raptor, who's also doing her own. Okay, let's see. Palia Raptor, perfect. Start raid, but toss the stream over to the be right back break. So you are currently not audible to them because I don't have Discord shared on this screen. But thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you friends in Discord for giving me something to chat about. It has been a fun night despite not getting as much done as I'd have liked. Let's see, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, still doing the Cosmic Wheel, so if you want to pop in for that, if you just like those tarot cards I made, Michael. Yeah. Well, at the very least, I do have that YouTube VOD, and I figured out how to do the scenes, so you can jump straight to tarot cards now if you want to just see those. See? Oh, fair. Yeah, you have